Alright, so I'm just recording this on the fly. It is almost 9 o'clock at night. We are out in town, and I didn't know I wouldn't go to Blizzard. It's been a rough 48 hours. So I've been working on losing the weight for my slip drip stuff, which has not been going great, although here in like the last 3 days I finally started to drop. I believe last Wednesday I weighed 220, and yesterday morning, which was Tuesday morning, I was down to 215. So making progress there, although this is probably gonna screw it all up. But today being Wednesday evening, so as of what I think like Friday of last week or something, let's see if it was Wednesday, then Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, then. Oh, hi.
You're not a dog.
Hey. I'm a pet.
You're not a pet.
I am a pet. All that happens is that I just stay home and get taken care of, and I don't do anything. I'm a pet. And I'm being pet. Snuck up on me, kind of scared me.
Doing a recording?
Yeah. But the last 48 hours has been so, like 4 days ago, I started having a pain in my lower abdomen. I wasn't sure what it was. And the first day I dealt with it because, like, who knows what it is? Like, it could just be, something didn't sit on my stomach right, or, something. And, Oh. Oh. But there you go. I don't have any. So 4 days ago, which was what, Saturday? I started having pain in my lower abdomen. Didn't know what it was, and I just thought, oh, something's just like not sitting well in my intestines or whatever, and I just was like, oh well, whatever, go on. So I dealt with it. I mean, it was pain bad enough. It made me sick. It made me, I woke up and I had to run to the bathroom because I thought I was going to have to use the bathroom, and it turns out that wasn't it. That made it arguably worse. And while I was still in the bathroom, I thought I was going to pass out, so I managed to get back to the bedroom and lay down on the bed, curl up in the fetal position, and cry. And that alerted MJ to my situation, and we were literally about to get to leave to go to the ER, and I was like, no, I really don't want to go to the ER. I fight going to the ER as hard as I can. So I was like, give me a few hours, see if we get it under control. If we do, we won't go, but if I don't get it under control, we'll go. And I was like, fine, that's the agreement. So we agreed on that. And I had used like a heating pad. I think I took some Tylenol, and between all that, it seemed to kind of get it like enough under control that I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna be okay. So we let it ride, and then the next morning, was that the day you worked? Yeah. So I was home by myself that day, but when I got up, I was fine. Like, I was a little sore, a little tender, and I was like, well, I think it's just sore from being sore, so I wasn't that worried about it. So I went all day and thought things were fine. I just went about my day. And you can see Rex back here. Rex! There he is! Hi, buddy. But I went about my day, and but by the end of the day, I started hurting again really bad. I mean, like, back to the, like, curled up in the fetal position, not doing real good. Kind of hurting. And so that night, when I talked to MJ before I went to bed, I was like, you might as well take me to the urgent care in the morning, because then it's going to be Tuesday morning, right? I think I skipped a day somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's going to be Tuesday morning, and I was like, the urgent care is going to be open, which is why I didn't want to go to the ER Saturday or Sunday, because I don't want to go to the ER. Going to the ER seems very unnecessary, so I was like, okay, I'll go to the urgent care, but the urgent care wasn't open Saturday and Sunday, and MJ wasn't there Monday to take me. and I didn't trust myself driving under those conditions. So Tuesday, I was like, okay, Tuesday morning we're gonna go to the urgent care. I said, okay. So we did. We got up, and I got up first thing when he got home from work, and we left. And the lady at the urgent care was feeling of my abdomen, my lower abdomen, and I was describing my symptoms to her. And initially everybody was like, is it a UTI? Is it something to do with your IUD? Something like that. It didn't feel like any of those things. I mean, I've had UTIs, but I've never had problems with my IUD, but I have had, like menstrual cramps and stuff, but I've never had anything that felt like this. So we, at the urgent care, and the lady was feeling of me, and she felt something hard in my abdomen, and she was like, I'm really worried about that. I'm afraid. Hi, Rick. Hi, buddy, just grinning. She's like, I'm really worried that this is a hematoma and you're actively bleeding, and my recommendation to you would be to get to the ER, because I don't know what this is, and at the very least I can't deal with it, but you're gonna need an ultrasound to confirm that. She's like, you might try to see if your OB can get you in today. If not, then go to the ER. So I called my OB, and they probably could have gotten me in that day, but my OB lives like 2 hours away, and I guess she was just like, it's not worth the risk of trying to get here and it being something serious. So she was like, if it's that bad, go to the ER. Just go ahead and go to the ER. So we did. We drove down the street and went to the ER. And I guess the good news is I didn't get like swarmed upon. So I guess that made me decide, okay, well, at least it's not critical, or I would have been swarmed by now. But I had a CT, and I didn't even get the results from that. Nobody came back and told me what the results from the CT were. But before, and maybe even before the results came back, like the doctor, like the ER doctor can see them and he can read them, but he may not just have, probably didn't have the radiologist report back yet. And for whatever reason, the doctor didn't come in and tell me anything he saw or his guess or anything, or he was just waiting on the rad report. But he ordered an ultrasound after the CT was done, or like a while after the CT was done. And so I went and had an ultrasound. And I was like, that's concerning to do 2 imaging studies, with the CT being like in general, and then the ultrasound is like, okay, that's oddly specific. So they did that, and finally, afterwards, the doctor came in, and I think first the nurse came in and they decided that I'd had a UTI, that I was in like the early stages of a UTI, so they gave me Rocephin through an IV, and they were like, that ought to knock it. Like, if it's in the early stages of a UTI, that ought to like just completely kill it. So you should be good. And during that time, the doctor came in and was like, you have a mass that they think is from your ovaries, but it is so large it is just sitting on your uterus. And he's like, I've got you an appointment tomorrow morning with a local OB because you need to get in to see somebody like right now. And I was like, again, what about taking this to my OB? And he was like, maybe, I guess, if she could get you in tomorrow, but you really just need to be seen tomorrow, and you need to go see this guy. He's a great guy. He's local. I would stay close, and you should really just go see him. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll have it your way. But they printed out, when I left, and they had like the big packet from the discharge papers, and it's like your follow-up care and how to take care of things. And it had the ultrasound report, the radiologist report from the ultrasound, and the CT on it. And both said that there was a mass that appeared to be coming from the left ovary that was concerning for neoplasm. So that was scary. And so I was like, okay, well, now it makes sense as to why he was wanting me to see the OB tomorrow. He didn't use the word neoplasm. He just said mass. I don't recall him saying concerning for cancer or anything like that. He just called it a mass. Did you hear him say anything about cancer? No? Okay. So when I saw this in my report, I was like, oh no. So now we go from just being in a lot of pain and inconvenienced to being in a lot of pain and now actively frightened and not really sure how this was going to go. So last night was a rough night. I had to go to bed knowing, like, with partial information, but not all the information, and certainly enough to frighten me. And so, I think I let my mom know. I remember distinctly deciding not to tell my dad because I was like, I'm just going to wait until I have more information. We'll have more information by like 10 o'clock tomorrow. I'll call him then. It's like not even 12 hours to wait and let him know something without scaring him, without a resolution. So, but my mom had been keeping tabs on me through the day because she knew I'd already felt bad. She knew I was went to the urgent care. She then knew I was in the ER. So, it just kind of followed. But Dad didn't know any of that, so I didn't tell him. I just waited. And I told him today after we got back from the OB. But so we go to the OB this morning, and he does another just abdominal ultrasound over this thing because he knows exactly where to look. And this mass is huge. And if the CT and the ultrasound measurements came back different, but the OB seems to think the ultrasound measurement was more accurate. If that's the case, it measures 4.7 inches, like transverse, like across. And so, when he's showing me what it looks like, he's like, so if it's 4 some inches across, plus, he's like, it's big. It's big. You have a huge mass, and it's just sitting on your uterus. And he's like, that's why it hurts when you go to the bathroom, or when you go to urinate, but it feels better after a bowel movement because you're taking the pressure off of it when you have a bowel movement. But to urinate, you're using those muscles to push on it, and that's pushing on this thing. But he thinks, in his professional opinion, that it is what is called a hemorrhagic ovarian cyst. So the options are, it's either this hemorrhagic ovarian cyst, which granted does need removed because it's huge. Usually they're quite small and the body reabsorbs it, and it's not really a big deal, but he's like, even if your body starts reabsorbing all this, it's not going away. It's just too big. Or the other option is that it is in fact a neoplasm. But the ER doctor sent off something, I'm not sure if it was I think it was blood work. I don't think it was the urinalysis stuff. I think it was blood work to do what's called a ROMA assessment, which is specifically to kind of grade something to see the likelihood of it being cancer. It's not a cancer diagnosis, it's not a screening tool, but it evaluates specific, like in this case, this mass. It evaluates specifically that mass to see what the risk of it actually being a cancerous mass is. And so we're waiting on the results back from that to confirm whether or not it is cancer. The OB said to expect that here in a couple of days before the end of the week. So in the meantime, we are in kind of pain control mode, which is terrible. Rex. He sees people and he wants pet. That's what it is. So we are just in pain control mode and waiting until something gives. But either way, he's referred me to the nearest large hospital, which is UK, based on where I'm at, UK and Kentucky. University of Kentucky Hospital. And he sent a message through to oncology there, and they were to get back with me ASAP. So we're going to see, like I said, we still have to wait on the results to know what kind of surgery to do, whether it's just going in and removing the mass, or if it turns out to be cancer, it's supposed to be a total hysterectomy with both ovaries. So the future is unclear. And I've had an emotional roller coaster across the last 48 hours. So I'm being bad and I'm having a blizzard. So long story short, it's been rough. It's been a rough 24 hours. All of this comes on top of the slipped rib thing. I'm finally starting to lose weight again for the third time. I'm coming down from 220. The third time I'm coming down from 220. And last I checked was down to 215. So I don't know. Maybe removing this mass is gonna like take 5 pounds out of me or something. I don't know. I don't know how much a blood-filled cyst weighs. But I guess we'll see. So I hadn't really done an update. Mostly I was trying to do updates on like my weight loss, but the weight loss has been really stalled despite taking Adipex for this. I started the 3rd month's worth of Adipex, and I'm still at 220 until the last couple of days, like I said, when I hit 215. So I've been down to 212 twice, and both times hopped back up literally overnight to 220. So it's not fat gain, but I don't know what it's coming from. So just adventures upon adventures around here, and now I'm just doing the best I can. And right now I'm in cope mode. I'm not even really in survival mode anymore. I'm just in cope mode. So that's that update.